for this conversation. Hey, love. I don't know. My stuff looks low today. Hey, Ryan. Okay. So, I went into meditation today because my, like, you know how, like, sometimes you'll feel pain in certain parts of your body. My mouth, my jaw, like, on this side, and my teeth here are kind of purging right now. But it's not, like, really bad. It's actually kind of dull. And, so usually I'll use, like, a gold light to assist any different parts of the body, that need purging. And I wasn't, even though, I've been meditating a long time, so I don't have big issues with concentration. It was really, really hard for me to concentrate. So I decided instead to refocus, just focus on my breath, and to allow my consciousness and my higher self to take over and to higher self for Natoya. No, you're doing a heart chakra reading and clearing. I got you. So basically I went into this meditation, and this is really, really important. So all the readings, whoever gets their reading, I'll get to you, but I have to talk about this first because this is going to be big for our next evolutionary step in consciousness. So as I went into the meditation, I started just following my breath, and I let my body show me what it wanted to show me. Because, we have, and, that resistance that we have against our own bodies and against our DNA and against our own cellular memory is what keeps us from obtaining higher levels of wisdom and consciousness. So I guess over time I've been able to sort of like train myself to like, okay, something's happening. I don't know what it is. Let me just follow it and see where it goes. So as I went into this altered state of consciousness, now I've done a lot of meditations where I actually focus on my cells and where I actually focus on going into my cells, and because I consider the inside of our body like our own little kingdom. And we have to be cognizant of how precious it is to go inside of your own self and inside of your own kingdom and to acquaint yourself with yourself all over again. Now that's just the physical body. Obviously everything comes from a spiritual or a non-physical component. And then as it builds energy and slows down its frequency, then you have solid forms, or seemingly solid forms, because everything really is just different forms of light. So this is just more like me sitting here, right here, you guys over there, even your body is just a denser form of light. It's a hello, Elijah. It's a denser, more slower vibrating form of light. So I have rediscovered, and I will do a lecture on this. I just want to sort of, this is a big deal, but I don't know if people are going to be at a level of consciousness or have had enough, if you're adept and you have been through some shit and seen some shit and really been working at this stuff for a while, or even if your soul is just very in tune and even if you don't know everything, if you have an adept soul, you'll take what I'm about to tell you and you're going to internalize it and you're going to be like, holy shit. So y'all remember the Emerald Tablets of Thoth? And remember how Thoth, now I didn't read them, I listened to them. I've read them now, but when I first heard it, some dude recorded like himself reading the book on YouTube or whatever. So I listened to it over like a whole day. I was like cleaning and everything. And I remember one part when he talks about getting to like the edge of consciousness and how there were hellhounds there. And if you moved, and this is all dealing with death or daath, the other side. And if you moved in straight lines, like sacred geometry, a lot of times has those straight lines, Thoth talks about how the hellhounds would get you, that you have to learn how to move in circular curves and forms. I'm like, that's kind of interesting. So I've been contemplating, because I know that science, well, one thing that I've heard from scientists and stuff, from like reading different things, is that science doesn't actually understand why we die or age. There's no logical reason as to why we actually die or age. So things like that, like the fact that the sun's not hot and it's actually further away in the summer, yet the the earth herself is hotter in the summer. So I think it has something to do with the light spectrum that we receive. I think that in the summertime we may receive a wider light spectrum, and that activates something in the earth to generate more heat. But that's my theory. I have to look it up, and I have to meditate on it, honestly, because so much of this information and wisdom is lost. But that's neither here nor there. Let me, bring my divergent self back on track. So I remember that, and I remember reading, even it's funny too, because as I was about to go live, I got a double confirmation, because my two tarot decks, the Cosmic and this tarot deck, are like all jumbled up. And I pulled them apart. Gotcha, Aaron. And I pulled them apart, and it was two devil cards. And the devil card is represented by Saturn. So even though it's not Pluto energy, Saturn, and when we have our Saturn return, it shows us what we don't want to deal with and what we don't want to take responsibility for. So I was like, double Saturn energy. I'm like, that's really interesting. And it was the devil card both upright. But it didn't feel bad. What it felt, because we have a problem on this planet where we take things and where we categorize them as bad or good, but like life doesn't actually work that way. It's just all energy. It depends how you use it. Because anything can be alchemized. Even something that's bad can be alchemized and used for, a better purpose. Okay. So I was like, okay, and that's pure Capricorn Saturn energy. I was like, okay, this means that this information, this wisdom, even though it's going to create a lot of fear in people, the ones that can handle it are going to be able to get out of this bondage of death and begin to move into creating their own reality in a greater way. Imagine you could be in complete control of all, which is complete communication. There really is, control is an illusion. Complete communication with all the cells in your body. Complete communication, a humming vibration, creating a very cohesive song. If you could do that, you would reach a level of mastery that is unheard of. And I don't believe that any of these things has to do with like being a vegan or eating or being a breatharian or choosing, whatever you do is whatever you do. Like, people eat, a lot of vegans and a lot of people who eat a really healthy diet choose to eat that way because of their fear of aging and death. It's more fear than it feels good. Like I had a salad yesterday because it felt good to have a salad, not because I was fearing that I was going to age or die. I was just like, my body wants a salad today, so that's what I will have. Sometimes my body wants, I got it, sweetheart. Sometimes my body wants a burger, and that's what I will have. It's very rare though. I don't like beef, and then naturally moving with the rhythm of your body. When you're going into higher states of consciousness, you'll notice that you'll start to eat less naturally anyway. But anyway, moving on, as I went into this meditation, this is all leading up to something. I know it sounds like I'm rambling, but I'm not. It's all going to make sense in a second. As I went into this meditation, I felt parts of my body, my cells, because I can tune into all my cells, that were moving. The energy was moving kind of slow. So I said, okay, that's a blockage. Let me just clear that out and get the prana, the life force energy flowing good again. Like, that's how we self-heal energetically. But I noticed that every time I would focus on my golden light that I use, or the violet flame, or any of my normal techniques, I couldn't focus for some reason. So as I went in and I followed my body's natural intuition, I noticed that I was drawn, because we have cells that die in our bodies every day. And if we don't learn to create a complete cycle or circle in our consciousness, the broken cycle or circle, the fear of death, is what's creating death. I know, it sounds weird, but as I went into my cells, the sense that I was getting, well, thankfully I've done enough rituals and practice and, had guidance from my ancestors and stuff and initiations spiritually, that I can handle the feeling of actually, on a small level, dying and coming through. I know how to move through death and dying and create a full cycle, because after death there's rebirth. So you deal with dying and release that death energy that's building inside of you, because you are holding on to dead cells, which is dead energy, emotional blockages, all these things energetically that you're holding on to that are dead are actually creating death in this life. Death is not real. It is real. It's a transition, really. It's not, but it's the fear of it that creates a blockage and a stagnation in the energy body that then the cells sort of, it seems like all the cells that have like death or are dying, they all sort of like, well, because they will, I'm just using this area as an example, but they all kind of like stick together in the body. And then over time, there's a buildup, and it's like this death decay energy. And then over time, there's a buildup. And then I believe that's what makes your body age and die. So if every day you decide to make a full cycle or circle, just like how the sun comes up, the sun goes down, and then the moon comes up and the moon. So the moon and the sun at some point in the day have to die. They have to go to the other side of the world. That would be a form of death. Nature goes through death by the plants, the trees don't hold on to old leaves or old fruit. Yet as humans in our bodies, we are so afraid of dying and of death that we're holding on to a decaying energy because of our fear of it, and trying to be vegan, trying to exercise, trying to do like plastic surgery, trying to do all these things to hold on to the illusion of youth or of life, or wanting to look as young as possible and stuff. So it's the illusion of youth or of life that you're holding on to because you're afraid of death. But it's actually that fear and the not knowing how to actually tune into your energy body properly and create a full cycle. You have to go through death and then go back to rebirth. If you did this meditation every day, you go through death and you go back to rebirth, I believe, I'm going to keep practicing this, but I believe that over time, you can build up enough energy in your body to where you control when you're ready to pass. Yes, you have to acknowledge that there's cells in your body that need to energetically at least be released. And I don't think it has to do with like diet, exercise, anything. I think it has to really do with this culture pushing us and pushing a fear of death so heavily. But if we embraced it in our bodies every day and took responsibility and acknowledgement for the cycles that happen even in our own body and in nature every day, we would create a natural rhythm with life instead of running away and fearing death or death. But you will literally feel the feeling of dying in your meditation. You will literally, as you're releasing, it will feel like a part of you has died, but you're releasing an old decaying energy. You're releasing old decaying cells that are creating energetic blockages in your body, and then allowing on the other end of that a rebirth. So that's something that I figured out. I'm going to continue some experiments with this, and I'm going to present, give me about a month. I'm going to present a lecture on this. Oh God, there's people here that are being really, you guys just block. Got it. I'm going to do a lecture on this because I know ancient texts talked about this, and I've been studying this stuff for a long time. Your cells, remember, are portals. So as you go through the decaying, rotting energy in those cells that are dying in your body every day, you're going to go through a death gate, a death portal, but you'll acknowledge that your body dies every day. And at least you're going through that ahead of time. So everything's not building up energetically and creating a big death at the end of your life. I believe that this is the next step to us learning how to extend our lives naturally, to us choosing when we want to pass. But I think that the reason why Spirit has me speaking to you all about this today is because something big is coming. It's coming, and I can't say it's already sort of here, but it's like a very big shift. Because I don't like, this is like extremely advanced, too advanced for a lot of people. But I guess some of you are all ready to dive into this deeper thing, these deeper wisdoms. Now, a lot of these people, if you notice, even elder teachers and stuff, many of them, they teach this in a very elementary school sort of way, where it's not cohesive and there's no technique. They'll teach it in a way where like they're being a badass or something, like, oh yeah, y'all better get with this shit, but they're not actually teaching you anything. They're hyping you up. They're getting, which is good, they're getting you to think about something that many individuals on this planet fear, because they were programmed to fear it. My bad, I'm like playing with this little little piece of copper. And the whole thing is, I don't know of, and you can all correct me if I'm wrong, maybe Bobby Hemmett actually had the wisdom but couldn't put it together like this, because this wasn't available. This is not something you can find in a book. They only give us clues to trigger us to get to this level and state of consciousness within ourselves. So find someone. Hey, what's up, Courtney? I implore you and I ask you to please find someone else and send them to me if you can, because I would love to know of an elder, anybody who has been able to explain to you how to overcome death with a technique and cohesively. And let's practice this together. Let's try it out. I know I'm going to be doing more experiments with this and trying it out so that I can get us to we have to evolve. And also too, going through this and releasing that, that energy out of your cells, that stagnant energy will in the long run, it makes your energy body a lot lighter and puts you back in natural alignment and balance and rhythm with the planet, with like the natural rhythm, like the very natural song and rhythm of the planet. I noticed that yesterday. Got you. Oh, whoops, I didn't mean to leave. That was an accident. Okay, I'm gonna start doing y'all readings now. Okay, so I swear I'm feeling it. Also, a major shift is coming. I've also seen the angel number 555. It could be personal, but I'm feeling a huge shift is coming, and it feels major. And I probably will have to do. Yeah, but I'm pretty sure Panic still doesn't understand this, because this isn't in a book. They only give us like these clues in these damn books. You really got to go into meditation and figure it out for yourself. Makes sense, because acknowledging change. And I don't send me no lectures of Panic reading out of a book. Because I know he did one that was like 13 hours. He's literally just reading a book. I'm not watching that shit. That's like, I could read a book myself. Because it's acknowledging change. Now, referencing is different, but actually sitting there reading is childish. Elijah, this makes sense. That's what Alexis is saying. Which in turn means no resisting, which means no anxiety, which means no self-inflicted stress, which means no wrinkles inside or out. That's so funny. All right. Higher self and Akashic. Got you. I saw it. Okay, let's do some of these readings for you guys. But yeah, I'm going to put this up on YouTube too if some of you guys need to go back to it. And then I know a couple texts, sacred texts that I can go into. Hey, what's up, Paul? I didn't see you there. Nael Espinoza, let me see what you sent for, my love. Well, Latoya sent hers first. So I'm going to start with her. Hi, my love.